to Movies in Bed. I'm Josh Nixon. If you take a spoonful of sugar, you'll get... Well, I don't know actually. I never tried that out. But anyhow, let me tell you one thing about myself. I love skateboarding. I was all hyped in the big skateboard trend when I was a kid and I had a skateboard and I went to my local skate park. But still today, I haven't tamed that beast yet. And I was also pretty heavy on the skateboard video games produced by Neversoft and Activision, since one of my first PlayStation 2 games was in fact a skateboard game. And above everything that I admire in the world of McTwist and flip tricks, there is the Birdman himself, Tony Hawk. From Vert to Virtual, he is everywhere, and whatever he has his face stamped on, you can count on it being something worth his while. But then came around 2006 and holy 360 did he put his name on some What am I referring to that Tony Hawk should have thought twice about before signing away that contract? Boom boom Sabotage. This movie was made under the Bird's name and he had a lot to do with it by playing himself in it and being the executive producer. Also, to add on to a bad combo, this was produced by the same guys who gave you these. How do they go from plastic crap to just crap is beyond me, but let's all get into this movie and see how it bails. The movie starts on the fortune teller's wagon from The Wizard of Oz, and what the munchkin is that? It looks like Frankenstein's monster crossed with Steve Buscemi. Well, via the exposition news at 9 on Fox, we learned that the potential child molester is Grimly, and his circus got run out of town by his cousin, the mayor of Lincolnville, because it is now considered old school, and the people want something more extreme instead. Oh yeah, these guys are certainly no longer worth seeing. I mean, really? People are no longer interested in going to see the circus? That doesn't sound realistic to me at all. The circus is practically a time-honored tradition of the American culture, and if I were to understand the kids today still, they would go bouncing all over the place to go see it. And yet this town literally demolished a circus tent in favor of wanting to see skateboarding events? Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I would like it for you to demolish the local orphanage and put one of those amusement park freefall tower rides in its place. Huh, that was easy. Enough of the freak show. We have an opening credit sequence to grind our way through. From my impression of this film, the people who made it want to show off their motion capture skills, and of course Tony Hawk is one of the motion capture skateboarders. It doesn't look that bad, and the animation is a bit fluid, but it all looks like the cutscenes from a Tony Hawk video game that got a lower budget. Also, to give a fair warning, I would say that about 10 minutes of this hour-long movie is padded out with nothing but skating scenes that do not provide character or plot development at all.
That was pointless.
I consider this movie is more focused on the animation rather than the story, which is going to hurt my balls more than this. After that skateboard expose fest, Grimly's at the town hall with his crew, and dang! He's getting mileage on that antique. He tries to negotiate with his cousin the mayor to have his circus back, but of course, being a politician bent on looking to the circusless future, he rejects.
Are 6 toes? Doesn't this mean anything to you?
I had mine removed and donated to the local orphanage.
Oh, yes. Lots of nibblies for everyone. Get all the nice man's honey. Oh, yes.
Grimly tries to win his cousin over, but not with the influence of an extra limb. Then it goes a bit too far.
You're dead to me.
I got nothing on that. So, because Grimly has a douchiest mayor for a cousin, he becomes bent on... if I know at this point exactly. All he just wants is his circus back. And since it's come to my mind about it, the roles here are reversed! Grimly should be the victim, and the mayor should be the bad guy because of how much of a he's been acting to his own cousin. He is the one who said the circus is out and skateboarding is in, then blows up his cousin's circus tent, pushed him out of business, and then disown him after shaming him. This movie could have been a lot better if this was done instead. Evil mayor ruins his cousin's life and destroys his circus. Tony Hawk comes in by celebrity tie-in, saves the circus, end of movie! That's a lot better than this negative 1080 degree of an angle that these people are going with. And speaking of which now, Grimly threatens the mayor by holding his wig hostage.
Very juvenile, Larry. Very, very disrespectful. And it saddens me that you would stoop to this level.
Oh, blow me, Mayor. Grimly demands to use the city civic center on Thursday night for his circus's comeback show.
I want Thursday night. You can't handle Thursday night!
You can't handle the truth!
He gets away and we go to the kids from the opening credits as they're approached by the skate park owner named Frank, and he happens to also run the Civic Center too, which is preparing for Tony Hawk's Boom Boom Huck Jam.
Lots to do to prepare for the Huck Jam and Tony's arrival.
When was the last time you saw Tony?
Well, it's been years, I guess. The last time I saw him was about 20 years ago at my old skate park.
No offense to old people, but when do elderly Air Force veterans get into running skate parks and become acquainted with skating legends like Tony Hawk?
Frank, old buddy.
Birdman, what's shaking?
Finally, the legend appears in the movie that has his name in the title, and we are introduced to the kids. No personality, boobs, white trash, and gender-confused kid. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed one.
Sage?
Sage? No, that is not going to work out. From now on, your name is Steve. Why? The green striped shirt. The film gets rolling as we cut to, oh, holy tiki mama. I guess this is the camp that Grimly in the show is staying at now? But where exactly in mainland America do you find a Gilligan's Island-themed residence in the same area that's practically a concrete jungle? And no, Las Vegas is not an answer. They're smart enough to stay out of this movie. The performers are practicing as Grimly confides in his right-hand man, Hamshank. If you're wondering how he got that name over what he's supposed to be exactly, that's wonderful! So far we've seen him bust up a TV and talk like a pirate, so that makes him a handicapped TV busting pirate dwarf?
Now, Happy, my good man, get your goon squad over to the Civic Center. Let's get Operation Birdcage underway. Aye, aye,
Throw a midget over a mountain, and you get a rainbow out of his anus? What's the point? No! No, 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 no! Something else! Something else! Okay, fine. Back at the Civic Center, Junior eggs his friends from the lights above, and how did he get up there in the first place?
Hey, get off that grid before you break your neck!
Well spoken. Anyhow, the kids are waiting for Tony, and wait a second! He was that high and all he does to get down safely is fall and slide down the ramp. No. Here's what should have happened. Ah! Tony introduces some of his skaters to the gang and they skate for them. Oh, and I am mentioning this one pointless skating scene because it kind of gives way to this plot point of Tony Hawk bailing. He walks away for some reason, and it isn't from the crash because it is an occupational hazard to wipe out when you're a pro skateboarder. The kids try to check on him only to find Tony's limo driving away fast and his skateboard left on the ground. What could it mean?
We think Tony Hawk's been kidnapped.
Well, that's logical that Tony could have been kidnapped because there was a car driving away fast and Tony left his board and backpack behind with his cell phone in it, making it difficult to try to contact him. But you guys didn't notice the getaway car was a limo that was assigned to Tony while he's in town? The car was visible for about 4 seconds. You should be able to identify it and the person who drove it, so call the cops.
Let me see if I can get a hold of Tony's driver and see what's up.
What? No! Yeah, he talks to the driver, Marshall, and he tells Frank that Tony's just going back to the hotel to rest. Then they hang up. Hey Frank, let's talk for a moment here. While you were in the Air Force, did they ever teach you to use that thing in your skull called a brain? If you really wanted to make sure that Tony is alright and not kidnapped, then you should have asked the driver to talk to Tony personally. A whole lot of this stupid movie could have been saved if you did this one small, smart thing. But that's not likely since it's another 50 minutes to go. Marshall turns out to be a part of Grimley's ring, and this doesn't surprise me since that piece of forehead hair looks like it was painted on his head. And not to mention that he looks like the drunk uncle of Major Armstrong from Fullmetal Alchemist. In Traction. Tony is then placed in a shark cage that was used to film the infamous shark jumping scene from Happy Days. No, I'm not kidding. That's what it really is.
It was used in the filming of a television series about Happy Days. On one 2-part episode, the show's uber-cool hero jumped a shark in water skis while wearing a leather jacket. Can you imagine that, Mr. Hawk? Grimley informs our celebrity hostage that he'll be forced to be the new attraction of his circus, and this is where I'm now seeing some new problems. First, Tony Hawk is a star. Where's the tight security that should be making it very difficult to get within yards of him? And second, Grimley kidnapped him with ease just so we can have him in a circus. Wouldn't it have been a lot less complicated to, I don't know, maybe ask him to perform in your show? If you're trying to prove to your cousin that the circus is not as bad as it seems, then maybe getting endorsement from a guy with a high status like Tony Hawk could be the better option instead of hairpiece robbery and kidnapping. Returning back to the kids, they go to return Tony's stuff back at his hotel and abandon ship! My god, that's a bad design! That's making the blue-eyed white dragon jet from the Yu-Gi-Oh movie look subtle. At Hotel Titanic Abomination, the skaters encounter one of Tony's friends who explains to them that Tony does have a busy agenda, so he might not have been kidnapped.
Yeah, he's always getting hauled off here and there to things he doesn't like doing. Press junkets, voice records for lame animated features.
But then Tony Hawk and kidnapping stupid kids in the movie, I cannot tell if that's smart writing or the writer really hated his job. After the gang leaves, we see some of Grimley's freaks approach Tony Skater.
Yeah?
And we just cross into Jackass the Fail movie. The kids take Tony off their minds by filming a skate video with a full-size camera that was pulled out of an interdimensional backpack. While reviewing the footage, they see the circus clowns in the background tossing their new hostage into a truck, and then look up to see the exact same action taking place about a couple minutes after the footage was shot. They drive off, but one of the skaters sneaks aboard.
What the heck is he doing?
No, the correct question is, how did you guys catch up so fast? Last we saw you, you were left in the dust in the city and now miles outside the city's limits. There's hardly any distance between you and the vehicle than when you started chasing. The driver finds out they're not alone via a bizarre periscope and shakes a little off, now making up for the stealing the ramp drop earlier.
Oh my god! Jesse!
Ah, come on! I wouldn't consider that ditch to be filled with every possible kind of cushion you could think of. Tony is now joined by his crew in the Happy Days cage, and they try to pass the time as slowly as possible.
Nice strap on.
After discovering another use for Hamshank, Grimley pushes Tony to the brink of insanity. And get ready for the next best scene since Darth Vader's 15 Seconds of Shame in Episode 3.
No! Anything but that!
Bravo, Mr. Hawk, bravo! Definitely worth the $3 that I paid for the DVD from a thrift store. The kids finally found the campgrounds for the circus, by accident after 1, 2, 3 pointless scenes they wasted by skating, in which time they should have been trying to look for clues for the whereabouts of a missing celebrity skateboarder.
So you find anything?
I didn't even know you were looking! To get proof, they videotaped Grimly and Handshake forcing Tony Hawk to wear a chicken suit while riding a scooter. The skaters returned to the Civic Center, and just how important was that footage the kids took for proof? It was shown to Frank for a second, and he doesn't buy it right away. The footage is never mentioned again afterwards. Even though, before they showed up, Frank and the mayor were talking about Tony's assigned limo driver, and the mayor said he never did hook him up with a limo. But he clearly stated that the only marshal he knows is working for Grimly. There, you got your proof that Tony is kidnapped because his limo driver lied about being assigned to him by the city. Not me, called the FBI or something!
Guys, relax. Let me make another call.
You're officially senile, and I curse you to the bit of uselessness where the military from Megashark vs. Crocosaurus now resides. Frank calls Marshall, and this time he asks to talk to Tony Hawk. I would give the vet some credit, but unfortunately, since he didn't call the first time around, Grimly was able to use one of his performers to imitate Tony's voice, so no points for Captain Alzheimer's. Leaving Frank to try to put the easily solvable 4-piece puzzle together, the kids take to the circus's camp to free Tony, with a stash of fireworks.
Now! Say hello to my little friend!
One of the kids rescue Tony and the circus performers chase him through a jungle and on a mountain? What kind of a multi-terrain city is this? First it was the woods, then to a suburban metro area, then to a wasteland, to a tropical island, to a jungle, and now a mountain with a slide? Try to pick a universal setting and stick with it, movie! Tony goes down the slide while a suicidal rescuer tries to unlock the cage.
Hey, who's five?
So it looks like Tony and the boy died. I will be surprised if it turns out that they didn't. Back at the Civic Center, Frank is still trying to figure it out that Tony is probably kidnapped, and it finally comes together when Grimly walks in and bags him. Wait a second. Oh, I get it now. Blessed poker pal of mine did put laxative in my coffee this morning. You know, we're not on good terms, movie, since I'm siding with the villain because he did what I wanted to do a half hour ago. Grimly also captures the kids, and now, it's showtime! Let's see what's going on here. Hostage in a cannon, blindfolded hostage on a motorbike, spin and shoot at a hostage, hostages walking a plank into a pit of T-virus infected monkeys, and of course hostage in a bag locked in a closet does count in this case. Damn, I'm running out of hostages to use from the movie. Maybe I could substitute in Robin and April O'Neil.
I don't think so, Cirque du Soleil.
Ah, Tony Hawk is still alive. Oh wait, I mean, yay! So after an okay climax, Grimly is arrested, Frank becomes none the wiser except he didn't learn anything at all, and the people get their boom boom huck jam.
This was better than any video game ever. Except maybe Pro Skater 2.
Why, Trash, you were completely pointless, and everything I hear coming out of your idiotic mouth is making me more black than you think you are because of verbal bruising. And you're wrong. Pro Skater 4 is where it's at, motherf***. But compared to the game, this movie doesn't amount to a whole hill of airtime. Guys, what happened? I mean, what was the point to produce this film? If the idea was to demonstrate motion capture skateboarding, well, congratulations! You certainly did a bang-up job in banging that into us. But a movie can only be as good as a professional skateboarder if he knows how to catch some big air and pull a 900, whereas you're only able to coast without losing balance. Tony Hawk, I got nothing against you. You're pretty successful, skilled, and I don't know if this was your idea or something else that you got dragged into by an agreement, but take my word for it. You're no actor. Tony basically suffers from the same problem as Michael Jordan in Space Jam and Shaq O'Neal in Kazam. They're sports stars that can only provide commercial value to whatever products they get involved with when it comes to being on the screen outside of sporting events. They do not deserve to have their own feature-length films filling in the starring role. But anyhow, it is now time for me to pull out my own special tricks as I now grade Boom Boom Sabotage. The story? Yeah, it sucks. It felt like it was written in only one draft and nothing was done much to improve it. The idea of extreme sports taking down the circus doesn't work at all since part of the circus is in fact extreme sports itself. Also, there's a need to have more of a story going on instead of padding out the time with pointless skating scenes that have no meaning to the film at all. I land story with a D. The characters were a pair of busted balls for me. I can easily say that about 70% of the characters in this movie were pointless and should have been taken out because for a movie that is officially named Tony Hawk and Boom Boom Sabotage, we only get to see the main attraction for 1/3 of the flick. Most of the kids are just as helpful as Frank, and what's the motivation for an insane clown posse clone group? The only actual person I came close to liking was Hamshank. He busts your TV when yet another election campaign ad is on, makes you smell the rainbow, literally, and protects you from explosives. This dwarf and possibly Grimly is the only thing about the characters I don't mind about. I rank them all a C. The movie's overall look is not bad, but it's not good either. The sets are decent, yet it's not Earth City, it's just a city. Don't go putting in so many different environments in a certain radius of a location because it doesn't make sense when you do. Also, a bit more work could have been done in animating the characters' mouths to match the dialogue more, and some additional effort in the backgrounds and surrounding areas for the sets will be nice. It's not a perfect 10, but I'll give overall look a C. And for my emotional response, I'm not going to lie, I actually enjoyed watching it because of how screwy this movie is. I like arguing with it about why there is no way this could have happened, why did it do this, and what was it trying to accomplish. Unlike Mega Shark vs. Crocosaurus, since the movie does nothing but me off, there is something going on for this movie, and I find it more fascinating than that. If you want a movie to make fun of and enjoy with others, then you should probably check this out at some point. I give emotional response B points. Taking all the grades together to form a combo, I present to Tony Hawk and Boom Boom Sabotage a C+. So that's all since I'm close to running out of skateboard themed comparisons to use. I'll see you all next time and getting that same bad feeling again. That bad feeling I always get before I encounter the dark force of evil. But why now?